Hi everyone, my name's James Owston and I'm a double bassist, composer and improviser based in Birmingham, United Kingdom. I've recently been composing the music for a new project called Dreamerfly and Other Stories from a brand new ensemble called the Sounding Eye Collective, for which I'm also the bass player for. I was born in a town just south of London called Sutton, and from a young age my family moved to Gloucestershire, where I grew up in a little area called the Forest of Dean. It was very rural and there wasn't much music going on there. At the age of 14, while I was in school, I got together with a few other like-minded individuals, a few musicians, and we formed a rock band where I was playing guitar. I liked to play rock, funk and soul in those days, and then I took up the electric bass at around 14. When I was around 17 or 18, I think my mind started moving more towards jazz and improvised music, so I wanted to take up the double bass. And in 2015, I started studying at the Royal Birmingham Conservatoire on the jazz course. After 2019, when I graduated, after 4 years studying there, I became a freelance musician, freelance bassist and composer. I've had the lot of opportunities to work abroad and with amazing musicians and improvisers. Some of my highlights have been working with the Clark Tracey Quintet. Clark Tracey is a very well-renowned British jazz drummer, son of the legendary Stan Tracey. I also do a lot of recording with free jazz extraordinaire Paul Dunmore, who I get to meet a lot of incredible and unique musicians. In 2018, I was one of the 5 finalists in a competition called the BBC Young Jazz Musician of the Year Award, in which one of my very close friends, Zosa Cole, won. Out of the Sounding Eye Collective, I know Dan and Gloria from my studies in Birmingham, and they're 2 very close friends of mine. We've worked together in a number of different settings. I know Gloria's a very prolific vibraphonist and percussionist, and we've done a lot of projects together. Dan's a jazz guitarist, and we've worked together in a number of bands, and I've played with his trio quite a few times now. Although I haven't met Shiyi and Lindsey in person, I feel like we've got to know them really well over the course of this project, over our Zoom meetings and Facebook chats discussing our work. As the composer for this project, I've been working very closely with Shiyi. She's an amazing animator, and I've been really inspired by the way she draws and animates, and her style. I think it's really inspiring. And I've taken a lot of inspiration for the music from her work. Musically, I've been trying to take advantage of the multidisciplinary nature of the ensemble. So I've been trying to compose music which blends written music, improvised and atmospheric music. Just before I go, I think that's all I have to say at the moment. Just before I go, if you want to check out more about me and what I do, you can check my website, which is www.jamesowston.com. And yeah, I look forward to sharing all this music with you.
My name is Gloria Yehilevsky. I'm a percussionist. I teach, I perform, I compose music, and I do a lot of administrative work. And I'm the co-founder of Sounding Eye Collective, along with Shiyi Li. We began working together when we were both master's students in Birmingham. She was at BCU, I was at Royal Birmingham Conservatoire, which are all part of BCU. And we created The Minister of Loneliness together. The purpose of that piece was to tell a story that I had undergone, that she had undergone, that Ashling, our bassist for that project, had undergone. And it was largely focused on women's mental health. It was general mental health, but really specifically what women go through. And it's very difficult to talk about. It's a very vulnerable topic. So we had this idea for a piece, and we were able to portray a lot of those thoughts. We wanted to work together for hopefully many, many more years. So Dreamerfly came about next. My part of the story begins with a podcast I was listening to. It was about elliptical galaxies, and when I heard about them, I heard about how chaotic and entropic they are, and the parallels to my life and most people's lives were just so prevalent that it inspired a piece. And so I was walking by James, the composer's flat at the time, and I called him. I said, hey, are you around? Do you want to hear about this project idea? So I came over and I told him, hey, what if we do this project about space with animation? And of course, Shiyi was ecstatic. She's always wanted to do a project like this. And what has become what Shiyi and James have individually and collaboratively done with it is so far beyond that inkling of an idea. But it just shows how artists can manipulate and transcend ideas incredibly well. So I'm just absolutely thrilled with what we've done. Making music in the middle of a pandemic is incredibly challenging. The entire arts industry is being torn apart right now. It's very, very hard to find work. And this project has brought a sense of hope. It's bringing a sense of collaboration and meaning and something to work towards. And I'm just so happy to be working with all of these incredible people. I met both Dan and James when I was studying at Royal Birmingham Conservatoire, and then Lindsey and I met when we were both artists for the World Percussion Group. This was in 2017. It's nice to bring people together from different backgrounds and to see how this connection interacts. And so far, the recordings have been incredible. The compositions are incredible, the visuals are incredible, and I cannot wait for you to see the final product.
Hello everyone, Daniel Kemshell here. I am the guitarist for the Sounding Eye Collective's latest project entitled Dreamerfly and Other Stories. I have a mixed background. My mother is from Brunei and my father is English. However, I was born and raised in Aberdeen in Scotland. I grew up playing rock and pop music and slowly found myself exploring jazz and improvisation thanks to recommendations from my peers in the National Youth Jazz Orchestra of Scotland when I was around 16. At present, I am currently based in London, where I work as a musician, either as a band leader or as a sideman in various lineups, and I also work as a music educator. I am also a composer, and since the lockdown I have started a new project that reimagines my past works in an audio-visual format. The first of these, Lullaby, was premiered at the 2020 Birchfield Jazz Festival and can be viewed on their online platform. As a collaborator, I have recently worked with the composer Jasmine Kent-Rodgman, Hansu Tori, and the Ife Yoruba Contemporary Arts Trust. The Sounding Eye Collective is a fairly recent venture, and so I am excited to be part of their latest iteration. I first got involved in the project through my connections with James and Gloria, both of whom I studied with at the Royal Birmingham Conservatoire until 2018. I have worked with James on numerous occasions in different bands led by myself and other musicians on the scene, and I also consider them both my close friends. It has been a pleasure to develop and record new music with the ensemble. I have been admiring Shiyi's previous project for quite some time, and so finally being involved in music making as a direct response to her artwork has been an enjoyable prospect. This project was largely devised during the pandemic, and so remotely recording each part of the ensemble has presented some challenges, notably in instances where my role involves a degree of improvisation. That being said, the remote recording has also given me more freedom to explore sonic possibilities with the electric guitar for some of the more ambient textures found throughout the piece. My work on this installation aims to be informed by Shiyi's key themes. Loss and struggle were two that I found particularly inspiring. Before I go, myself and the rest of the Sounding Eye Collective would like to thank the Trinity Lab and Conservatoire of Music and Dance for awarding me with their Go Digital Award. The financial support from this award has allowed me to invest in some of the crucial technology required for recording this project and those to come in the future. If you are interested in keeping in touch with more of my work, I warmly encourage you to visit my website. I'm going to put it here. It's www.danielkemshell.com. Here you can listen to new music from myself and recent collaborators. You can also sign up to my mailing list, which will offer behind-the-scenes performances and the occasional sharing of special news. Thank you very much and enjoy.
Hi, my name is Lindsey Eastham, and I am one of 2 percussionists involved in Dreamerfly and Other Stories, the latest project by the Sounding Eye Collective. I was born and grew up in Los Angeles, California, and after studying in New York, I moved to London in 2019. I was introduced to the Sounding Eye Collective by my colleague and friend, Gloria Yehilevsky, who I first met while touring with the World Percussion Group. Having just moved to a new country, it was great to be involved with a project that introduced me to other musicians and artists in the UK. Venturing into the world of audiovisual performance has been an interest of mine for quite a while, and I don't think we could have gotten luckier than we did working with our animator, Shiyi Li. One of my favorite parts of this project so far has been watching all of these artists with wildly varying backgrounds come together and let our ideas mix and influence each other. Another aspect of this project that has been quite unique is the mix of jazz and classical musicians in the ensemble. While we obviously all have a similar baseline understanding of music, our experiences and skill sets are quite different. Coming from a contemporary classical background myself, I was first intimidated at the prospect of playing in a jazz ensemble, but as the work has come together, we have found a new language, somewhere in the middle of classical and jazz. That, I think, has pushed us to be the best that we can be. As a classical percussionist, I play many different instruments. In Dreamerfly, I primarily play the vibraphone, the instrument you see behind me here. I really like the fact that our composer James Owston included 2 vibraphones in the ensemble. It is an instrument that many people are not familiar with, and I think that works to our advantage. Its cool metallic timbre and the vibrato created by its motor lends itself to an ethereal, almost surreal sound that blends so well with the bass and guitars, and fits perfectly with Shiyi's beautiful visuals.